This is WCNC, NBC Charlotte News. First tonight, we're tracking those potentially dangerous storms moving through our area right now. NBC Charlotte has live weather team coverage tonight with meteorologists Brad Panovich and Sarah Fortner. They're in the First Warn Storm Center, and on the ground for us tonight, NBC Charlotte's Savannah Levins, who is out monitoring the roads. But first, let's start with Brad Panovich. Brad, we have been tracking the storm potential for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Where are we at right now?
We are right on that border where we're going to see some severe storms get really close to us. Some good news for the tornado threat north, but not so good to the south. Let me show you the watches which are currently in effect. These are tornado watches down for the parts of Georgia and South Carolina. The South Carolina watch is up until 10 o'clock tonight, and this is probably going to be expanded to the north and east later this evening. The question is how close that watch is going to get to us, because when we look at the severe weather outlook, the threat for severe storms lower up here, but not zero. Around Charlotte, we're right on that border between the low and medium. And then you notice the high threat just down here to our southeast. So this is the area of greatest concern for the evening hours until about midnight for possibly some tornadic weather. We're already starting to see the leading edge of rain moving. Now, this is just rain, but I tell you what, down here to the southeast, embedded in this rain are some very strong winds. In fact, Doppler velocities, the wind speeds aloft, are about 60 to 70 miles an hour, and these winds are moving towards the north and east. As we widen it out, this is a broad area of low pressure. The low pressure over northern Georgia right now is very close to what you would see with a minimal hurricane or tropical storm. The severe threat is right in here. So this is our severe storm threat right here as far as tornadoes. These are moving in this direction. The problem is the low right here, this is going to be heading our way in the next couple of hours, and it's going to bring us a threat of some gusty winds. Sarah Fortner's over in the First Warn Storm Center. And Sarah, winds and the timing of this could go well into the overnight hours.
Yeah, that's what people need to know. Once the rain gets here and leaves, that the threat is not over. I've broken it down for you in this graphic you see up here. The timing of tonight. Isolated south of I-85, you see that tornadic threat. Winds, double trouble here. Not only this evening, Brad, but again tomorrow, late tonight and into tomorrow morning. We've got a hail threat as going in from, say, 8 p.m. to about midnight, and heavier in those downpours, 1 to 3 inches of rain before it's all said and done with. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some isolated activity or isolated totals even higher than that. Here are your impacts broken down by low, medium, high, and extreme risk. Damaging wind, Brad, going to be what we're watching closely, not only tonight, but again in tomorrow. And I'll talk more about that coming up in a bit.
Yeah, Sarah, that wind is obviously going to be the biggest threat we're going to see overnight, and it's going to be associated with this area of low pressure. Coming up in a couple minutes, we're going to talk about where that low is going to track and how that wind threat actually could last well into your Monday. That's going to come up in a couple minutes when we do a full, complete forecast here in just a few minutes as we talk about this storm through the overnight hours. Xavier?
Thanks, Brad. Well, NBC Charlotte Savannah Levins joins us now live from the Chevy Storm Tracker. Savannah, you've been out on the streets for a little while now in South Carolina. How's it going out there?
So we're in Rock Hill right now off Anderson Road, and I do want to tell you that there's a pretty significant power outage. I'm going to show you a live look from our storm tracker right now. You see the power lights are out, the traffic lights here, so some issues traffic-wise. We did see a utility truck out here earlier. I believe I saw some emergency lights, some signals behind us, hopefully getting this situation remedied. Now, not sure if this is directly related to weather. We just started seeing the rain come down. Show you a look at our roof cam right now, where our night vision appears to be on here. You can see the rain coming down on top of the lens there, but definitely the issue with the roads is going to be any sort of power outages that happen. You heard Brad and Sarah mention, you know, the strong gusts of wind, trees likely will come down, so this is probably an issue that we're going to run into here, and definitely dangerous on these dark roads right now. We've got our photographer Trey driving right now, keeping us safe here on the roads, but something to keep in mind if you don't have to go out and drive, certainly don't, and make sure that your phones are charged and everything in case the power in your home goes out. We're going to continue to monitor these roads for you and give you an update on this particular power outage and any others that happen. You can see, I'm going to show you one more time. You see some emergency lights up here. I mean, the lights in all of these businesses as well out, so definitely a dangerous situation. So everyone stay safe out there. For now, reporting live from the Chevy Storm Tracker, I'm Savannah Levins. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Savannah. Right now, here's a look at the Duke Energy power outage map. You just saw some power outages in that Rock Hill area. Other power outages are starting in the southwest as well because of fallen trees and downed power lines. We'll keep an eye on things as stronger storms move closer to us. Well, now to breaking news out of Georgia, where a dozen people are dead after severe storms battered the state. Officials say at least 23 others are hurt. This was the same storm system that's in our area now. High winds toppled trees, tore roofs apart, and ripped the sides off of buildings. The storm also knocked out power to about 9,000 people in that area. Georgia's governor has declared a state of emergency. And before the weather system moved through Georgia, it hit Mississippi, leaving a path of destruction. This is video of some of the damage there after tornadoes ripped apart towns. One woman says it was over in seconds, and now that devastation is overwhelming.
It was dark. People were everywhere. I didn't know who was still alive, who wasn't. I was scared.
At least 4 people are dead, more than 20 others injured. Search and rescue teams are still looking for more victims. And stay up to date on the changing weather conditions on the go with the NBC Charlotte mobile app. It is free in your app store. Brad and Sarah will have another weather update for us in just a few minutes. Well, now to breaking news out of San Antonio, Texas, where police are responding to a shooting at a mall. Here are live pictures from the scene. Our affiliates on the ground report a suspect has been taken into custody. Witnesses there report hearing 6 shots fired, and police have confirmed that people have been hurt in the shooting, but have not said how many. We're keeping a close eye on things, and we'll bring you the latest information once we get it. Following a few developing stories we first broke this morning, we've learned some disturbing new details in the overnight death of a man shot 8 times and killed outside of his home in Chesterfield County. Deputies say someone shot and killed 28-year-old James Henderson at a trailer park on Hillian Edwards Road that's just outside of Sherrod. Witnesses say Henderson drove a friend home, and when he came back, he said people were trying to kill him. Deputies say he then received a series of phone calls asking him to step outside. Witnesses say Henderson was confronted by about 5 suspects and was shot. Anyone with any information is asked to call the sheriff's deputies. CMPD is investigating after a massive crash in Ballantyne where 5 people were hurt. Officials say the driver of a Hyundai was speeding when he rear-ended a Chevy Trailblazer, hurting all 4 occupants in that SUV. Now, the driver at fault has been charged with DWI and reckless driving. He is in critical condition tonight at an area hospital. Moving on, Union County Sheriff's deputies are warning people to check your credit cards as well as bank activity after someone tampered with gas pumps in Indian Trail. It happened at the 7-Eleven on Unionville Indian Trail Road. Employees say they discovered unusual data ribbon cables attached to the pumps, and the integrity seals had been compromised. A contentious second day of the Trump presidency over the size, the crowd inauguration day, and why more cabinet nominees have not yet been confirmed. Tomorrow may be more controversial, too. President Trump will reportedly announce he's moving the U.S. Embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. NBC's Jennifer Johnson has our story from Washington.
All enemies, foreign and domestic.
President Donald Trump at the swearing in of White House senior staff, including son-in-law Jared Kushner.
We are going to do some great things over the next 8 years.
But the Trump team is angry that only 2 of 21 cabinet picks have been confirmed. Senate Democrats have held up Mike Pompeo's appointment as CIA director over his potential support of waterboarding.
So to have a discussion for a few days when this man will have enormous power and be in office maybe for up to 4 years makes eminent sense.
Pompeo joined President Trump at the CIA Saturday. The president supporting the same agency he criticized for reports of Russian hacking during the election.
There is nobody that feels stronger about the intelligence community and the CIA than Donald Trump.
President Trump also tried to show support for the masses of women who marched on Washington Saturday, tweeting peaceful protests are a hallmark of our democracy, even if I don't always agree. And the White House is still defending Press Secretary Sean Spicer's comments about the inauguration crowd being the largest in history.
The first time he confronts the public, it's a falsehood?
You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts.
Mr. Trump will also reportedly announce Monday he's moving the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. The Palestinians are among many who see that as a threat to Middle East peace. The Senate is expected to approve the nomination of Mike Pompeo as CIA director late Monday, as well as put through Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.
Turning back to the weather now, let's get another check of things with Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Brad, what's the latest out there?
Well, here's the deal. We've got this big area of low pressure, and even though there's severe weather off to the southeast, that severe weather threat down in this area is moving in this direction. The main low pressure system has got a lot of strong winds and heavy rain with it that's going to move across the area. So even outside of any severe thunderstorms that we see this evening, this low pressure system over northern Georgia, which you can see spinning there, is going to pass right over our area later tonight and tomorrow. And the chance for very strong winds, even outside of thunderstorms, could bring down some trees and power lines. The leading edge of the heavy rain just now moving in. Get ready for a long night of rain, wind, and maybe even some isolated severe weather. We'll have complete coverage on the severe weather threat coming up in just a few minutes when NBC Charlotte at 6 continues.